What's up, champs? It's Langston Tula back with another reaction, and I ain't gonna hold you. When I grew up, I used to love roller coasters, but I only do them at amusement parks. You won't catch me dead. You won't ever catch me at a festival or a fair, all right, on any type of rides, because I don't trust any type of ride that travels from state to state. But when it comes to Six Flags, it comes to some of these well-known amusement parks, I might try a roller coaster or two. But today, I might change my mind after this video. We have 9 worst roller coaster accidents in human history. Let's check it out.
Let's imagine you're on a roller coaster ride. The sun blinds your eyes, the wind is in your face, and you hear the other passengers' laughter.
Have you ever passed
Awesome,
out
right?
on a roller coaster?
When you fall, the adrenaline rushes through your blood, and you feel happy. But suddenly, instead of joyful laughter, there are shrieks of terror. Just now, right there before your eyes, a passenger sped out of their seat during a sharp turn and fell from a height of a few dozen meters.
Bro, oh my gosh.
This?
You have to click me in. I'm talking about, I'm going to yell and cause havoc in the beginning. If that doesn't click, if I don't hear the click, I'm going to shake on it a little couple times. If anything messes up or I feel a slight if I feel any type of way in my gut that this is not going to go right, I ain't going to lie, I might cause havoc and get off of this joint. Can't even cap. I need to hear the click and I'm going to shake it a couple times. I'm going to make sure I'm locked in.
This can happen. What if I tell you that much worse things have happened in amusement parks in the long history of their existence? On March 24th, 2022, 14-year-old Tyree Sampson went with his football team on holiday to Icon Park in Orlando, USA. There, the boys decided to go for a ride on Orlando Freefall, the world's tallest freestanding drop tower, which was 131 meters tall. But an ordinary day off turned into a tragedy. When the movable part of the ride got to the top of the tower and started falling, Tyree slipped out of his seat and hit the ground.
What?
The 8th grader died on the spot. According to
how did he slip out the seat? He looked like he probably the biggest one on the damn ride. That's unacceptable. That seat was not fastened. It wasn't slipped out the seat. You need to narrate it a little bit better. How about the shit didn't secure him correctly?
Forensic expert report. The leading cause of Sampson's death was a mistake on the part of a park employee. As it turned out, the freefall ride operator had loosened the safety belt on Sampson's seat. It had likely been done during the ride's launch to accommodate customers weighing more than 130 kilograms. The investigation showed that Sampson's safety belt was almost twice as loose as necessary. Because of this, the boy fell out of his seat during the ride. After
No way. Bro, that's not a mistake, bro. That's not a mistake, because I know for sure you're required to at least double check everybody's stuff. Why rides should have 2 people checking. All right, one person checked, then a second person needs to go around and check again. Like, every ride should that should be mandatory.
After Sampson's death, Orlando Freefall and an adjacent ride, Orlando Slingshot, were closed until further notice. The company Orlando Slingshot, which had designed the ride, made a statement that proclaimed the company's decision to withdraw this model from production after the boy's death, and Icon Park supported this call. A civil rights attorney, Ben Crump, who represents Sampson's father, has referred to this decision as long overdue. Theme parks, their parent companies, and regulatory agencies must do better to prevent this kind of tragedy from happening to any other family.
Totally agree. The only way that you do that is have extra eyes on stuff.
This isn't the first time such a tragedy has happened in the U.S. On July 9th, 2011, James Hackemer, an Iraq war veteran, died in a tragic roller coaster accident at the Darien.
He done been to war. He done fought for the country. He done lost his legs. He just want to have some fun. This man is just looking for a good time.
Lake amusement park in the north of New York. 3 years before that, in March of 2008, Hackemer was serving in Iraq when his vehicle hit a makeshift explosive device. As a result, the man sustained some injuries, including the amputation of both legs. When Hackemer expressed the wish to go on a roller coaster ride at Darien Lake, park employees were unable to secure a safety belt on him. Because of this, the man was put in the first coach with the explanation that he would be able to hold onto the barrier in front of him with his hands.
What? Idiots. That is what? So you expect this man to hold on to dear life while a roller coaster is going 90 miles per hour? You put him in the front?
And because he had no safety belt, during one of the turns, the man was hurled out of the seat on the Ride of Steel coaster, which was moving at 80 kilometers per hour.
I was close.
Hackemer was at the park with his children and sister, but luckily, his children weren't around at the time of the tragedy.
Oh my god.
Instead, Hackemer was accompanied by his nephew Ashton Lufred. Ashton said the park employees did not object to the disabled veteran's wish to ride the roller coaster and did not ask any questions. He was determined to ride every roller coaster, his sister Jody Hackemer told the Associated Press. That minute he was on that ride, he probably felt the happiest and most normal he's felt in 3.5 years. State investigators ruled an operator's mistake as the cause of the tragedy.
Wow.
And the ride was back in operation that same year.
Do y'all think he's wrong for that? Do y'all think that the employee is wrong knowing damn well they did not secure him? Like, I feel like at that point, you have to make a judgment for life. You cannot allow someone to demand something that is not safe. That's like someone demanding to do drugs. And you know it potentially has fent in it. And you still allow them to do it. You have to be you have to be accountable in some type of way. There's no way someone can demand something in this situation where you know it's not safe, and then you still allow it to happen. You have to also think about your job, think about what possibly could happen if something went wrong. Like, bro, that's not cool at all. I ain't gonna lie to you, I would have had to call someone else. If he's demanding to be on the ride, we can't fasten him in. All right, I got to call my manager. I got to call somebody higher above me to make this decision because I don't feel comfortable making this decision.
But sometimes, you don't even have to buy a roller coaster ride ticket to get a deadly injury. Just standing nearby can be enough. In 2015, a teenager was decapitated on a roller coaster ride after he jumped over some fences and entered a forbidden zone. This horrific accident happened at the Six Flags over Georgia Park.
Why are you not watching your kid?
17-year-old Asia LaShawn Ferguson from Springfield got over two 2-meter tall fences, ignoring the signs that warned of the area ahead being a dangerous forbidden zone. Most likely, the boy was trying to get his hat, which fell off his head while he was on a ride.
Whoa!
But some witnesses say he wanted to prank the passengers of the ride by grabbing someone's foot when the coach would be passing over his head. The boy received a deadly blow almost immediately after getting under the roller coaster. The foot of one of the passengers who sat in a coach moving at 80 kilometers per hour hit the boy on the head.
Whoo!
This blow immediately
Talk about
decapitated
punt.
him. The police claimed the boy's death to be an accident. Six Flags decided to show respect to the Ferguson family by closing the roller coaster on the day of the tragedy. But the next day, the coaster continued to give rides to happy visitors of the park.
Yeah, most definitely.
But that wasn't the first act.
I'm not gonna hold you. That comes down to you not watching your kid. You not having eyes on your kid. That hat is not that important, son. We'll go get you another one. Like, that is not acceptable. You don't allow but he is 17 years old. He probably was there by himself. Now that I think about it, 17 years old. You're probably at this amusement park by yourself and with some friends. God, dog, I can only imagine getting freaking kicked in the face at 50 miles per hour.
At the Six Flags network. 2 years before, in 2013, Rosie Esparza was torn apart while riding the Texas Giant roller coaster at Six Flags Over Texas amusement park. Even before the beginning of the ride, the woman expressed concern over her safety belts after she got on the coaster. An operator assured her they were properly secured, and the roller coaster started its fatal journey. When the coach made a sharp turn,
that's when you say, can I get in a different seat? If you believe that something is, bro, you know what? I take it back. All of these are amusement parks. None of these are fairs and stuff like that. Take it back. I might not ever get on a roller coaster ever again, bro.
Esparza's safety belts loosened, and the woman was flung 23.
I don't think I'll run into this problem just because of how vocal I am. There's no way you could tell me, if I tell you something's wrong with my seatbelt, I don't feel secure in this seatbelt, and you're like, no, everything's good, okay, if everything's good, let me get in another seat. I want to get in another seat. Like, I feel like I'm more a vocal type of person, so I don't think I will run into a situation like this, but I can see someone being like soft-spoken and not like, and you know, like they spoke up about it, but then they don't want to continue to like press the issue and make it an issue. Me, on the other hand,
3 meters into the air, right before the eyes of her
that demonstration just made like my stomach turn inside out just a tad.
Her partially torn body was found wrapped around a hinge on the roof of the Honky Tonk Tunnel.
No!
Immediately after the incident, the police launched an investigation. But 2 months later, the ride resumed operation after restrainers and new safety belts were installed. Esparza's family sued Six Flags and Gerstlauer, the roller coaster manufacturer. As a reaction, the park and Gerstlauer sued each other regarding the responsibility for the accident. Eventually, both companies reached an undisclosed agreement with the victim's family. But accidents don't always happen on expensive rides.
They probably came up on a bag, bro. Anytime you hear about a company deciding on an undisclosed, and not only, this ain't one company, this is Six Flags and the company of the roller coaster. They came up on a bag, and it was such a bag that they did not want it to go out to the public, because you know that's gonna happen again. And the next person find out that it happened again, they gonna definitely run up probably double of that, because inflation, a motherfucker.
A simple net is enough. 12-year-old Tegan Marty saw a terminal velocity roller coaster on a cable TV show. Eager to pull off the leap of faith, a backward fall from a height herself, the girl talked her parents into taking her to Extreme World Adventure Park in Wisconsin Dells. The family drove all the way to the park from their home in Florida just to let young Tegan fulfill her dream. Here's how the ride worked.
Just like the
participants were thrown off of a height of more than 30 meters. That is, from around 9 stories high, into a net with no safety belts whatsoever.
Hell no.
Standing in line for the Extreme World ride, the girl's mother, Julie Marty, recognized the ride operator. He was the person who had praised the supposed safety of terminal velocity on a TV show, even though the ride had no safety belts or bandages, and people just fell into the net from a great height. In the photographs taken before the horrific accident happened to Tegan, the girl is beaming with a wide smile. It was now Tegan's turn. Her father turned on the
camera. Having photos, like, oh my God, as a parent, taking photos seconds before your child, you will no longer see your child again, that's low-key like scary.
Camera, and her mother was anxiously watching from down below.
That I just never
the girl got to the top, 30 meters above the ground, and jumped.
100 feet in the air.
And then
the net breaks.
Something horrible happened. Tegan fell right onto the concrete.
Oh! Oh my gosh! No way! I was thinking that the net broke. She braced herself just a little bit. She didn't even fall straight down into the net.
The operator mistakenly let go of her before the safety net was installed below.
Oh, no freaking way. This is not acceptable.
The girl broke her spine and pelvis and received head trauma and numerous grave injuries. The girl was taken to the hospital, and for a long time, she remained on a ventilator in a stable but critical condition. The doctor said she had brain swelling, numerous grave fractures of the spine and the pelvis, and laceration of the liver, spleen, and bowels. They said Tegan might remain paralyzed forever. The girl who won a well-deserved place in the National Junior Honor Society with her outstanding grades could now only communicate by blinking. Once for yes, twice for no. Fast forward 17 months. 14-year-old Tegan was back in the state of Wisconsin again to promote the project of expanding the hospital, which had saved her life. The girl walked through the hall by herself, using only a walker for support. The ride operator, 33-year-old Charles A. Carnell, was charged with first-degree reckless injury, a crime punishable by 25 years in prison and a $100,000 fine. Carnell told the prosecutors he had blanked out and hadn't waited for the all-clear signal before letting go of Tegan. But sometimes, accidents happen due to the owner's desire to save money on the visitor's safety. On December 24th,
Yo, do y'all think do y'all think 25 years is too little? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty fair. But at the same time, that's unacceptable. There should not be a ride where you are not harnessed in at a little bit. You don't have any there's no safety measure in that. The only thing is the net. If the net breaks, in this situation, you don't just let the person go. There's no the net should not be above concrete. There should be another safety mechanism underneath it, foam, a whole bunch of freaking I don't know what's those things called, popcorn bubbles or something. It should be a pool, a ball. I don't know. Something should be underneath that is very soft. There should not be, the net should not be above concrete. That is another situation of unacceptable.
1998, a massive metal cleat detached from the hull of a ride called Sailing Ship Columbia. On the way down, it hit 2 park visitors and 1 Disney employee. One of the visitors, 33-year-old Luann Fee Dawson, who had sustained a head injury in the accident, later died in the emergency room. This was the first death at a Disneyland ride that wasn't the visitor's fault. Luann received 2 grave head injuries and an injury of a large blood vessel in the brain. His wife, Lu Vuong, also sustained head trauma but survived. Mrs. Vuong received plastic surgery to sew the cuts on the right side of her face. A Disneyland employee, Christine Carpenter, had a severe leg injury but got proper hospital treatment. As shown in further investigation, the strap, which was supposed to hold the metal cleat in place, had been replaced with a rope made from unsuitable material.
Bro, talk about some nigga rig, bro. I'm surprised. Man, you better off freaking using duct tape. Like, what? What? You basically tied fucking fish line onto the
save
thing.
Money. Apart from that,
to save
the
money.
ship's approach to the dock was too fast, and the rope, which was used instead of a strap, wasn't strong enough to slow down the vessel's movement. Responsibility for the accident was attributed not to the ride operator, but to the park management.
Definitely.
The victim's family won around $25 million in court.
Million? 25 M's? Give me the plastic surgery. No.
The Columbia ride remains out of operation to this day. The incredible heights of roller coasters remain the central feature of such rides, but that's also what makes them dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't even lose a life, and they got 25 M's. Imagine what the previous person got when there was two companies that had to, when the roller coaster and the park had to agree on a disclosed agreement. If they got 25 M's and one person just got injured, the second one had to get surgery, and then the other one messed up their knee.
11th, 2010.
Somebody
21-year-old
got
Lindsay
rich.
Zeno visited Blue Bayou Water Park. Zeno got on a
Millionaire.
ride called Extreme Coaster, a roller coaster that had been in operation for about 3 years. Minutes into her ride, the girl fell from a height of 9 meters and eventually died from trauma sustained.
Ow.
We weren't sure exactly what caused the accident. It could have happened due to a faulty safety belt mechanism. One of the witnesses claims he saw Zeno try to secure her safety belt when the coach made a sharp turn and flung her into the air.
No
Louisiana State
way,
Fire Marshal
bro.
Butch Browning sent inspectors from his department to check the roller coaster. According to him, all of the mechanical parts of the coaster were in their place and without fault. Nevertheless, after the accident, the ride was closed forever. On August
Yay.
11th, 1996,
That's
a mini train at Old
that is
Indiana.
right. That situation right there just shows that like it doesn't matter if or what. If it's your time, it's your time.
A fun
Like, that-
park was
like, that
derailed
just-
and turned over, crushing 2 people with its weight. The victims were 4-year-old Emily Hunt, who got paralyzed from the chest down,
that's
and her
sad.
57-year-old grandma, Nancy Jones.
Oh, not
This
Granny.
horrific catastrophe not only makes your skin crawl, but also causes incredible anger at Old Indiana Fun Park representatives, since they have made every mistake imaginable. Investigation showed that the train was moving much faster than the project's speed of 19 kilometers per hour. When the operator tried to hit the brakes, they didn't work. And it's still
Oh my
unclear
gosh.
whether they had been damaged or weren't there at all. Also, most anti-derailment devices had not been installed. The speedometer was broken, and the tracks were strewn with litter.
Oh, that was
Later, it became known that the safety inspector, who had checked the ride twice 3 months before the accident, admitted he wasn't qualified for this job.
Oh my
Even the
gosh.
park's own records proved that the mini train had been derailed 79 times in the previous 2 months. This wasn't the first problem with Old Indiana. In 1996, the park was fined for 77 instances of breaking the law against child labor. There were also materials in the Indianapolis Star about the inhumane treatment
Man, what
of
they got
animals,
going on in
including a
Indianapolis?
tiger. The owners of Old Indiana Fun Park admitted negligence, but denied the information about the ride's condition before the accident. Since then, they declared bankruptcy, and most rides in the park were sold at an auction the following year. And this next roller coaster
As they
accident
should. That's
became the
unacceptable.
deadliest in history.
You still
The
got something
expression
on the
of
rails
terror
that
on a
keeps
little
on
girl's
derailing
face before
79
her
times.
death will always remain in Carolyn Adamchik's memory. The girl was one of the children who died in the catastrophe at Battersea Park in 1972. Carolyn was a 14-year-old schoolgirl when the tragedy happened. The Big Dipper ride in South London broke while operating, killing 5 little children. Carolyn was lucky enough to survive. Wooden roller coasters have the reputation of potentially deadly traps. They were down quickly and
I
required
ain't gonna lie to you. Back home, there was a amusement park back in Kansas that, bro, I went to all the time. That roller coaster was definitely wooden. Definitely wooden. I 100% remember. Our elementary school used to take us to this amusement park as well. Definitely wooden. Someone definitely passed away on that joint too. Can't even cap. But I think the person had fell out of it, and they you know, unallowed themselves, but they fell out of the roller coaster. But definitely was wooden, and low key, that's the roller coaster that has me scared. Oh, bro, I used to love this thing called the Wacky Shack. Though I think I got my first kiss inside of the Wacky Shack. Like it was like this train. They go in these buildings. And then like the building, like inside the building is a whole bunch of people jumping out and scaring you, or like or just like different like machines like jumping out and like jump scaring you and shit. And I remember I had this little girlfriend in elementary school. We was hugging, we was scared and shit, hugging up on each other. Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared. And I think we ended up kissing in the wacky shack.
Constant maintenance. Even the slightest negligence can lead to a massive disaster. When the train was being hoisted to the start of the ride, its haulage rope broke loose from one of the carriages and the mechanism broke down. The wooden train was going above the park with 31 passengers on board.
Roller coaster,
Carolyn turned over and noticed the train operator was hitting the brakes, but they weren't working.
Bro,
most train carriages did not take a turn, and one of them jumped the rails to the side, crashing into a wooden fence. The train then took a sharp turn and hit another train waiting in the boarding zone. Right after the crash, Carolyn and her friends got stuck in a relatively intact carriage 15 meters above the ground.
Wow.
Around 5 children died in the catastrophe, and 13 more received severe wounds. The roller coaster was not repaired, and the Battersea Fun Fair was closed 2 years later. Every year, around 30,000 accidents that result in trauma, both minor and grave, happen in amusement parks. Even though the industry group representing theme parks and water parks says the odds of sustaining serious injuries on a roller coaster in an average US amusement park is 1 to 16 million, this danger should still not be ignored. After all, the human element, faulty equipment, or the banal desire to profit off safety can often lead to deadly consequences.
Definitely.
If this video has sparked your interest,
man, I ain't gonna lie to you, that was actually a good video, but it has got me even more scared to even go to a amusement park. I really don't mess with like fairs and like rides at fairs and stuff like that. I always get a lot of slack for not doing a lot of the rides at fairs. Like I'm that type of guy. I go to the fair for the food and the games, bro. The food and the games, bro. Like a lot of people want me to get on rides. Like if the ride is like somewhat leveled where I can like, if anything happen, I can bail out of it and not be hurt. But if it go high in the air at a fair, I just can't trust it, just because I know how much you set this up. You travel around with it. You take it down. You expecting people in every state to be able to put it together. I'm good. But I honestly had more faith in amusement park rides until I watched this. And like you said, the odds is bad. The odds is slim to none. But at the same time, there's still a possibility. Let me know in the comments if you would still get on a roller coaster after watching this. And if you do, I salute you, because you got balls of steel. Share the video out to a friend and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.